Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video I want to talk about Python dictionary. So in the previous videos we looked into Python lists and also Python sets, and we see how lists and sets can be used to store collections, so store a number of items in one data structure. So in this video now we want to go into dictionary, which is one of the most, if not the most important Python data structure. So what is a Python dictionary? So you can analogize it, or you can view it in a more abstract way as just like a place where you can store different types of items, and you can access those items in its individual place by using some key. So in a more abstract way, look into it like a purse or a backpack. So in a purse, you have a place for storing tissue, you have a place for storing money, you have a place for storing the perfume, and all other different places where you will normally store different types of items. So this can be seen you can translate this real world object into a Python dictionary and assign each key, which are the different pockets in the purse, to different values, like the number of items in those pockets or in those keys. That is how you can see it in a more abstract way. But now if you now look into a more Python way or a computer way, you can see it as a container with key value pairs of items. So in this container we have key value pair which forms the items in the container. And the only thing which differentiates a Python dictionary from a Python list is that, unlike list where you store the items in a very sequential manner or in some series, each is referenced by an index. So the index starts from 0. So, and they always resides in the same location in memory, like in a given block of memory. But with a Python dictionary, you don't have to put them in a block in the memory, or you don't have to assign only integers or indexes starting from 0 to, let's say, the last as their keys. You don't have to do that. For a dictionary, you can even assign strings as the key, or you can even assign integers, or mostly those two are the one mostly used to assign anything which is immutable. You can assign strings, numbers, or even integers as a key to the dictionary. Then now the values can contain anything. It can be another dictionary, it can be a list, it can be a tuple, it can be an integer. The value is like anything, whether it is mutable or immutable objects, it will operate on a dictionary value. And the dictionary is one of the most powerful data collection structure in Python, and it is majorly used in heavy data-driven application where there's a need to have a very efficient search, update, delete operations. So unlike lists, so let's say assume your application is based on a list at this data structure. It means now when you want to access, let's say, an item, and the item is found at the end of the list, the number last. It means the algorithm will have to go through each item in this list, trying to look for that new item. Up to the last is when it is going to find it and do whatever you want to do with that item. That is very inefficient way of designing a data-driven application. You really want the operation to be as fast as possible. Comes now dictionaries. Because they use key value pairs, it means when you want to search for a given value and you know its key, you just search the key, give it the key, it will give you the value for that key. And this is the theory behind most of the data-driven applications or database-driven applications. So in other programming languages they are used, although they use different names. Like for example in PHP, they call them associative arrays. If you're doing PHP application, you will mostly encounter them as associative arrays. When you are in Java, they are called hash maps. So normally in the backend they are using hashing to actually link these keys to the values, and they don't have to reside in the same memory location. With the hash values now, they are linked with the hash values, and with this you can access the values of the dictionary using that hash values. That's why in Java it is called hash map. Then if you are a Microsoft guy, probably you are programming C# or .NET. So here you will call them property bag. So how does list compares with the Python dictionaries? So remember they are just somehow similar, but the only key difference is that dictionary use keys which don't have to be indexes. They can be strings, they can be numbers, but a Python list, the index must be an integer. That's one of the key difference. Another key difference is that the lists, items in a list always are in some contiguous memory block in the memory, like they have a block assigned to that variable, the various items in the list. But for a dictionary, these items don't have to reside in the same memory block. They can reside in different memory blocks, but they are linked with the hash value, so that when you're doing a search operation, you can actually refer back to the hash and get the value associated with that key in the dictionary. So this is another example where you can visualize what a dictionary is. So in this table we have a key and value, and for each key, which is representing names, we have values which represents the age. So you can construct these in a dictionary and assign these keys to these values, so that when you want to, let's say, search or update the age of your friends, then you can do that very efficiently. So we'll see how you can do that in practical in the code editor. So someone is now asking, why do we really need the dictionaries? We could use lists. So like I've said, when you want to do a very efficient application, especially the one that is very responsive in search and update operations, you can't use lists. You will need dictionary because of how they are designed to be efficient in searching things. Basically, they are used for searching things. Like a normal dictionary you used in schools. When you want to look for an item, you don't go at the index of a given Wikipedia or what. You just look for a dictionary, then you go for the word you want to look for, you will get to the definition. So in this example, the word you are searching for is the key, the definition is the value. And that is the concept behind which most applications operate. So for example, you can use dictionary to make like a classical online dictionary where people input some keyword and the dictionary will give them definition. So the item they put in the search is what we call the key, and the definition is what we call the value. Another classical example is the search engines. So search engines operate by user giving them some search terms or some keywords which forms the key of the dictionary, and the algorithm will look for some links as the values. These links can now link to different websites where the keyword is defined. That is another good example of how you could actually use dictionary in real life. So now we want to head over to the editor so that we can look at some practical examples. So first, let's model the pass object. So remember that pass where it contains chocolate, a pocket for containing money, a pocket for containing candy, and the rest. So let's just create a Python file. So you call the touch Linux command. Let's call it pass.py. This will create the file, and if you double click it, open it in the code editor, it opens up an empty Python file. So the first thing you always want to do is to create an empty dictionary and assign it a variable. So to do this, you just write the variable name and you call the dict keyword. So this method dict will create an empty dictionary and assign it to the variable pass, so that you can refer to the object using the pass variable. And if you want to print the content of the variable pass, which is now a dictionary, you will see that it is empty, and you know it is empty because of the empty curly braces. So Python dictionaries literally uses the curly braces as to represent a dictionary. So let's save this and run the file. So to run, you call the Python, then the name of the file. So remember, you see it returns an empty curly braces. So the curly braces means this is a dictionary. And let's assume we want to create now or assign different key to associate them with some values for this our pass. So the first key we want to, or the first pocket is the, let's say, the money, a section where you will be putting money. And for initially we want to assign it the value, let's say $100, $1,000. Then another key, let's say we want to put the candy on the pocket for storing candy, and initially we want to assign it 10. Another key we can also get like toothpaste. Currently, let's say we have only 1 or 2. Another one, you can a place where you put, let's say, a calculator. So this is the key, and let's just say you have only 1. So with this now, if you print our new pass object, which is a dictionary, you will see that it now has these key values. So if you run the file again, you see now the output, it is showing now key value pairs. So there's like money, candy, toothpaste, and each has its value. So assuming in this our dictionary we want to look for all the keys, and we want to know what keys are in this our pass. So that is the concept of now traversing the keys and outputting the keys one by one. So this we are going to leverage the use of for loops. So you define a for loop. So for key in pass, what do you want to do? We want to print the key. So let's just disable this for now. So this will print only the keys for your Python dictionary. And if you run it, each key is printed on its own line. This is very important when you will be dealing with when you will be manipulating keys or the key and the values in a given dictionary. So sometimes you only don't want the key, maybe you only need the values. So for that you are still going to leverage the for loop. So traversing the values of a dictionary. So we are going to still leverage the for loop. So you say for key in pass. So you want to print. So for now, instead of just printing the key, we want to actually print the key associated, the value associated with that key. So you pass in the pass as our dictionary, and you pass in the key. So remember this key. For each key in the pass, print for me the value. That is what this code is actually doing. So if you save this, instead of now getting the money candy, we are actually going to get the values associated with these keys. And if you run our code, now you see it actually returns the values, not the keys now. So the first one is the money key, which its value is 1,000, the second one and the third. But in most cases, you want to access the key values pairs, what we call items. So anytime you see items, just know they are referring to key value pair. So retrieving items from a dictionary. So here we are going to leverage two things. We are going to leverage the key, and also we are going to leverage the method called items. So we call in for key value. So the value is the values for each key in pass. So our object is pass, and we call it the items method. So this method now puts gets the value and the key as a pair, not only just individual keys or individual values. And now we just need to print the key with its value. So there are many things you can do. You can either manipulate now the items, like you want to only return a given item. So if you run this, now you are going to see two things: a key printed with its value. So now we see money, 1,000, candy, 10, toothpaste, 2, calculator, 1. So this is very key, especially when you will be dealing with a database-driven application where you are accessing items from a tabular format or from a database in some SQL format. This is very key. So apart from just printing things, you can actually also manipulate the dictionary. Let's say you want to add a new key over this. You took your pass to the tailor and they added a new pocket. So we want to update our pass dictionary so that it can add additional pocket for storing other things. Let's say you want to store pencils or pens, stationaries. So we still call the pass method, the pass dictionary, but now we are going to call the update method. So this update method actually takes another dictionary. So we can define a dictionary which you want to update. So remember, for dictionary you have to put the curly braces. So the key, let's say we call it stationaries. And currently, let's say the stationaries, there are only 10. So when you print now pass, you will see that a new key, stationary, has been added and assigned a value of 10. You see? So we have now stationary as an additional key, assigned the value 10. So this is very key when you will be doing manipulations of dictionary. Sometimes you want to spit out or pop an item from the dictionary. So you call in the pop method. So if you call pass dot pop, and you want to pop out, let's say, candy. So if you print this, it pops out the value for candy, which is the key you have given, or you can even pop out the value for money, which was $1,000. So this is also a very key method. So there are very many methods. You can even clear the dictionary if you no longer have any items in the dictionary. So you call it the clear method. So you call pass dot clear. So this will clear everything. Now if you print the new dictionary after clearing it, it is actually going to be an empty curly braces, which means it is an empty dictionary. So there's nothing left. It's clear. And now you can add new items again. So the key takeaway from this tutorial is that dictionaries are very important, especially when doing very fast applications where search, update and delete operations are very time sensitive. And because of this, the keys are used to actually locate the values you want. So the keys must be unique in a dictionary, and the keys must be of immutable data types, that it can be a string, it can be a number or a tuple. It cannot be a list. The keys can also be of the values in a dictionary can be of any data type. It can be another dictionary, it can be a list, it can be a tuple, it can be a series. Doesn't matter. And dictionary can also have an object as its values. So just take time and look into different methods you can play with the dictionary. You will meet it in when you are dealing with now real world application, when you want to design application, especially when you are getting data from different data sources in formats like the JSON. So JSON is just when you get data in JSON, it will be like implemented in Python as dictionaries. So you will meet dictionaries in most of your applications you will be seeing in this series when you will be dealing with the real-time applications. So thank you for watching, and please always leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe if you are new to the channel, so that you can always get up-to-date videos as I post them. Thank you and have a nice time.